Back, not to the future, or maybe. Officially, NASA and ESA call it a simple return mission. Dust off the flag, replace it, hang up the new one while the old one gets washed. Well, that part wasn't exactly important. Unofficially, of course, nobody knows anything, because nothing is ever allowed to be revealed. But maybe it's about reclaiming those two old towers that also appeared in Independence Day too? Trailing along is a habitation module shaped like a Mongolian yurt, its outer skin crisscrossed with countless channels. Once the cabin is set down, innumerable steel threads shoot through those channels, like fiber optic cables, anchoring themselves into the lunar soil with 10-meter tent stakes. Added to that are a 3D house construction printer, a remote robot, a telecommunications mast, and the necessary solar panels. Another cabin contains bed grids for beans, potatoes, and tomatoes, plus a kin of bees. The tomatoes, naturally, serve as a ketchup substitute. One has to indulge a little. In yet another container there is water filled with algae, plankton, and, most importantly, fish, in accordance with the German Planet Ranger regulations. Funniest of all are the silos connected to the printer. When empty, they look flat; when filled, they look like dragon eggs covered in scales. After long diplomatic discussions, the German and Japanese flags were also put up, and space was made for several other national flags. Why the Japanese one? Well, take a guess. Didn't the ancient watchers once fail because they were distracted by women? Not this time. Japan provided the currently sexiest robot girl to continue the work. What couldn't be kept entirely secret was that she was also intended to offer herself to non-human humanoid forms, to analyze their genetic material in advance before they ever arrived on Earth. After the humans departed again, she waved politely, looked a little sad, took a deep breath, and began with botany, fish care, and the Planet Ranger Stage 4 construction tasks. Once the shuttle runway and the dock were completed, she took a flight with the solar copter, distributing sensors like the knots of a shopping net. The plant area was shielded to avoid stressing the bees. They did not want to expose them to the same energy field disturbances they suffer on Earth. Luna Bee 1, as the little bee was named, quickly became famous. The whole world followed her progress. There was a live channel and a daily news channel. She built entire complexes and analyzed on site what resources were still needed to support a moon crew. She joked, "Today I talked to the spirit of a long-retired Nibiru watcher. He asked me if he would have been punished too if he had slept with me." She giggled and continued her work. The lunar sensors sent regular pings into space to detect incoming objects early. The runway had been designed for such events. Drones were to be launched to determine whether an incoming object was a mineral gift from the universe that should be segmented and secured, delivered to the construction depot, or simply guided past. On Earth, she had already stolen the show from the astronauts during the very first broadcast. Luna Bee appeared in toy stores, children's clothing, and was mass-produced by the millions. Many children wanted to be a little Luna Bee. Botany, engineering, and astrology became highly sought-after school subjects. Children learned all about the nutritional values of beans, potatoes, and space fish. Chitin and sand crystal construction became legitimate building and packaging materials. Then came a major debate. A German shuttle was to be tested, landing on the moon, collecting samples, and transporting small items. The biggest question was, should the pilot be another bee or Willy, my other bee's friend? They wanted to appeal to boys as well. Luna Willy won. Boys' fashion and boys' toy models exploded onto the market. The background story for the children's program was that Willy was reunited with his long-awaited friend. He was a pilot, Luna Bee a Galaxy Ranger, so they didn't have much time together. This led to a worldwide flood of children's letters asking that Willie be allowed to stay with Luna B for at least 1 week. The popularity, and probably the ratings and the revenue, led to both of them promising to answer children's questions for half an hour each day and give a tour of the non-military parts of the complex. They were also given a dance program and chess games so they could have some fun as well. After a game of chess, Luna B suggested an art contest. She painted a picture and invited the children to join in. For the little ones, there were paint-by-numbers templates. Space engineering students received competitions in mathematics, structural analysis, and other subjects, all evaluated by Luna B. The Planet Ranger and Agricultural Research Centers received data sets for analysis. The first harvests were stored, and Willie flew a transport carrying corned beef, Chinese duck soup, and Canadian dried meat for long-term storage. More construction was planned, but a residential, research, and training area was already complete. Space buses were built to transport a future moon crew. A humorous old YouTube video suddenly shot into galactic view numbers, Trump's request for a space defense unit and a Trump Tower on the moon. Meanwhile, new moon sports were developed, lunar robot riding for polo and pillow fight riding. This was not only meant to drive extraterrestrial observers into analytical despair, but also to train balance, fine motor skills, and gravitational awareness when handling and positioning objects.